Hello friends, it's Terry with Terry's Mailbox, and today I'm presenting the Vault Funky Floral Wreath by Tim Holtz and Sizzix. As soon as I saw this die, I was thinking Four Seasons, and the post by Kath Stewart for Tim Holtz just confirmed my thoughts. So again, here is that complete die. It's got lots of florals on it. I've also pulled out a 9x9 square vintage tray, and again, kind of showing you how I'm going to line all of the pieces up. You may know that I have scrap boxes. I have lots of backgrounds, love playing with ink and smooshing and just all kinds of stenciling backgrounds, and I hang on to all these things. So again, I'm kind of giving you a preview here through my box of all the different colors that I'm going to use to create these four-season wreaths for the vintage tray. So again, too much fun, just way too much fun. So again, I started with the light green, so I guess this is going to be spring. So again, I set out to die cut both the wreath and then some of the leaves. And so again, it was an afternoon of just die cutting happiness that I had that one day. So again, I even got out brand new Sizzix plates to do this with. So then I wanted to do a second wreath layer, but I wanted it a little bit deeper. So what I did was I pulled out Mowed Lawn, and you can see here I'm ink blending over that distress piece. So again, just ink blending away. Again, I wanted a different shade, again, for depth and dimension. So again, just working away here, adding a whole nother layer. And then once I got that done, I die cut, again, a second wreath that I could layer, and plus some of the leaves so that I could also, do some layering with that. So again, I love this wreath. I've always been a fan of wreath dies, but this one I was real excited to get my hands on. So again, this is actually a leftover from my spray box. It's on craft paper, and it's some of the blue spray inks. And I thought, oh my gosh, this would make great robin's eggs. So again, that's exactly what I did, was I cut out a bunch of them. And I actually missed the second layer. So you'll see there I've got the little tiny ovals there that I added on top, because I did. I missed the second one. So again, we're going to go ahead and put this together. So I'm kind of playing with the wreath, and then I want to put the eggs at the bottom. And I had this packing from a gift that I received a while ago, and again, don't we hoard this kind of stuff? So I pulled some of it out, and I thought, well, that would make just a perfect nest for the bottom of this wreath. So again, I took a piece of the green, scrap of the green distress cardstock, and I put it underneath there to kind of give me a base, more of a base to attach the eggs with. I went for the hot glue gun. Again, for me, it's just easier sometimes to use the hot glue gun when you're dealing with these types of things and trying to create a scene. So here I am kind of mushing up all of that, that packing, I guess is what I'm going to call it, but I thought it looked like a nest. So again, I'm going to kind of keep adding the hot glue gun and kind of, forming the nest with my fingers. I'm liking this so far. All right, so the next thing I need to do is to add some extra flowers and leaves and things like that. We'll go ahead and stick the bow on the bottom. I did die cut that out as well, and you can see there I've got extra flowers that I'm kind of adding on there. Playing with the leaves and the layering of the leaves, just kind of white gluing them. And just kind of adding, again, color for this particular wreath. So I was happy with the way this one turned. Well, actually, I was happy with the way all four of them turned out. A really cool die. So next we're moving on to summer, and so I pulled out a darker green ink smooshed piece. And so we'll go ahead and cut 2 layers out. So again, kind of using my pick to get rid of all the extra little cutout pieces. And so you can see here that the end of this piece is not quite big enough, but I wasn't too worried about it. I arranged it so that I just cut part of it off so that when I put it together. So here is ultimately my pile of pieces for all of the 4 season wreaths. So again, you see I've got this one done in craft, and again I added some extra ink to some layers. I did this one in white, and then I'm using evergreen bough and picked raspberry. So I thought that was kind of a fun, fun winter colors. So we're going back to the summer one here. So again, I've die cut you saw the pile of distressed ink pieces that I had that were smooshed. So again, I die cut a whole bunch of them, and I decided to kind of focus on pinks and purples for this one, along with, of course, the green leaves. So again, just kind of working here, adding all the extra little pieces there. You see I've got a piece of white, I don't even know what to call it. It's like the packing stuff. And I used my round tipped poker type of thing to actually push down to bring the edges of the flower up. So I thought that was pretty cool. So now we're on to fall. So again, I've already assembled many of the flowers on there. And then for the sunflowers, I didn't really have another deep brown, so I decided just to go ahead and color the centers with my Copic markers. So again, here we're just kind of organizing all of these fun little fall colored flowers. Loving this, just loving it. I love this piece. I was so happy with the way this thing turned out. This is going on display in my craft room for sure, along with the other ones that I like. Isn't that terrible? We keep creating these things, but then again, we like them all because they're just so colorful and just cool. So it looks like I'm just about done adding flowers on this one. And then I ended up just tying a piece of twine and using that for the bow. So there you see the fall one. On to winter. So again, as I said, I cut the greenery out with the ink smooshed evergreen bough piece and the flowers from the picked raspberry. So again, so I'm gluing all the pieces in here. Just kind of working on putting them all together. This was just a fun project to work on. I understand why Jennifer McGuire likes to play with die cut pieces. It's just, so relaxing. Once you get them cut out, you can, just kind of arrange them as you want. And of course, now I have extra flowers and blooms and leaves and things left over because I cut out a whole bunch. So then I'm going to add a couple of flowers there to the back side to kind of pop up and accentuate the back. You'll see that here in a minute. Pretty, pretty, pretty. So then I also added some snowflakes, and these actually came out of the twig and stump die cut set. So again, I just needed some small, decent snowflakes to add on there. And once I get all the snowflakes on, that's when I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more. You see, I popped a couple more of them back in the back. And then I decided that the pieces really needed some background. So here I'm using the ticking grain, CMS 475. I love this one. And again, I'm using the picked raspberry, and we'll go ahead and stamp a striped piece to mount the wreath on. So again, you can kind of see how that matches well. So then we're going to go ahead, and what I did was I tore it down. My vintage box is 9x9, so half is 4.5 by 4.5. So all I did was just kind of took my clear ruler here, and I'm lining it up at the 4.5 inch mark, and I'm tearing it to get those torn edges. I like torn edges. It just kind of added a lot of interest to the piece. So again, I did that with all of the 4 backgrounds. I use this technique to add some interest. So again, that's going to sit on there just like that. And so you can see here I've got most of the pieces here, and I decided to pull the backgrounds off and kind of ink around them. I did not ink around the winter one because I didn't think the color would match, but on the other ones I'm adding some vintage photo and walnut stain on here. Just kind of adding some color. This one's vintage photo that I'm adding on the back. This is the summer piece. So again, I'm also just kind of going back and just grunging the pieces up a little bit. It just adds so much depth when you do that. So again, kind of looking at how my pieces are all going to line up here, and I decided I needed to tear that one down just a little bit so that it would fit. Loving this, just loving this. So the last thing I wanted to do before I started assembling it was, rock candy glitter. Come on, what else can you do here? So I took my texture paste in the sparkle and kind of added some on there. And then we'll go ahead and throw some rock candy glitter on there just to glitter up the flowers, and just, it's got to be a little snowy. So the next thing I'm doing, I just grabbed a brush and I'm using my collage medium here to just go ahead and make sure that I got the entire top covered. And I guess this is technically the bottom, but I decided to use the bottom of the box. So again, I'm going to line everything up. Add a little more glue down here. Got to make sure you got it covered. Too much fun. I really had fun making this piece. So again, there's the spring background going in. And the last one then is the summer. So again, I love the vintage look. This, some of them just came from the backdrops, paper sections. So again, after I got it all together, I decided, I need a little more interest here. We need to do some background type stamping. So you can see here, I've just grabbed scrap paper and covered up the other sections here because I don't want my stamps to overlap. So on this one, I am using, this is the music advert, and I, stamped it in evergreen bough. Up there on the summer one, that is the ledger, and that's actually one of my favorite ledger script. That's one of my favorites. Up here on the summer, I'm using entomology, doing something a little bit different. You can see here, though, I don't have the stamps on a block. I'm just kind of working freehand. So on this one here, I pulled ledger. No, this is faded type, excuse me. This is CMS 397. So I just wanted to use a little section of it. So again, just kind of stamping away, adding all that interest in there in the background. Too much fun, too much fun. So there we have my background. So then I'm going to pull that hot glue gun out again and start assembling all of my wreaths. So again, just my well-loved hot glue gun. So again, just kind of putting hot glue on the back and then attaching in there. Isn't this fun? I thought 4 seasons. The second I saw this die set, I thought this is going to be a 4-season thing. And then, as I said earlier, Kath Stewart, who's one of Tim Holtz's makers, did a set of cards for the live release, which that just confirmed it for me. I thought, wow, 4 seasons, this is cool. So again, just kind of pressing it all down. On the summer one, I used a piece of purple twine. So again, I didn't necessarily I only used the bow on the one, actually. Winter does not have a bow on it at all because I felt like I had enough interest going there. So the last thing I'm going to do is I pulled some of the small talk strips that have to do with seasons. So again, I've got spring is in the air, every summer has a story, a falling leaf is autumn's splendor, and winter wonderland. And so again, I started to glue them, but then I really wanted to kind of curve them a little bit so that they kind of flowed with the wreaths. So I ended up pulling the hot glue gun out again and adding a drop there so that, again, I could get the dimension on those small talk pieces. Just way too much fun. Got one more here. Figure out where I want this. Get the bow in the front. Put the bow in the back. What am I doing? It ended up in the back. Couldn't decide. So again, there is my finished piece. And again, it's Terry with Terry's Mailbox. I'm on Instagram, Blogger, YouTube, and Facebook. And I'd love to have you come. I'd love to have you subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up.